Spin the wheel again, please. We'll get back to Jimmy Butler. Jessica, what does it say on the wheel?
About the Chiefs?
It says Tyreek Hill.
Well, let's play the video of a rambling Tyreek Hill. Actually, cut out the rambling for me and just play the end because this was strange. And I don't know. Can you guys tell me what's true? Because you know the internet always fools me. He missed a day of practice last week, and then on Instagram Live, he was clearly out shopping somewhere. Those things, people noticed it. Investigators noticed that Tyreek Hill, at least one day last week, was out sick and didn't appear to be sick in public.
Not shopping. I believe he was at one of the stores that he owns signing autographs.
Okay, and this has been, it seems, ending for a while. Tyreek Hill is very useful when he's getting you 1,800 yards. The other stuff becomes more problematic when it's less than 1,000 yards in a season.
I am just amazed that this Dolphin offense, which scored 70 points in a game, was an offense that a lot of offensive players were envious of, and they wanted to play down here, and it has turned that quickly on Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins. I'm amazed by that.
I have to issue a correction. Now, this information about Pop-Tart versus Pop-Tarts came directly from the Pop-Tart Bowl broadcast, in which the commentators said there's no such thing as a singular Pop-Tart. However, I have been texted a photo of single-packaged Pop-Tart being called Pop-Tart with no S at the end. Wow. So either some bad information was given, or this is a fake doctored photo. I will continue to work.
The Tyreek Hill thing is interesting for a number of reasons, but let's go ahead and play the sound. This was after him 2 minutes of you couldn't have seen this coming. This was very strange the way this played out. We're not going to play the rambling 2 minutes before it, but at the end, he nails the gymnastics dismount, and this is the time, incidentally. Right there is the greatest moment to interview any football player about whether he wants to quit football on the spot. The end of a season that ends with you not making the playoffs for the first time in your life, the emotions are going to leak out of him. So here he is talking about, well, I'm done in Miami.
I don't even know, bro. You know, this is my first time I haven't been in the playoffs, man. So, I mean, for me, like I said, man, I just got to do what's best for me and my family, dog. If that's here, if that's wherever the case may be, man, I'm finna open that door for myself, dog. As I'm opening the door, like I'm out, bro. You know, so it was great playing here, but you know, at the end of the day, bro, I got to do what's best for, you know, for my career and, you know, what's best. Because I'm too much of a competitor to be, you know, just out there.
Mean you thinking about leaving here?
If it is, hey, yes.
Can I just call Tyreek Hill not Calais Campbell? Because you see Calais Campbell, he's just like the best leader you could ever be, the best teammate. And it's like, yeah, when everything's good, Tyreek's fine. But as soon as anything bad happens, he's just done with you. And
well,
it's just,
everything has been good the entirety of his career except his behavior. I don't know what happened in yesterday's game. Is that where he learned how to check out of a game? Like, what happened during that game? There was some confusion. It wasn't an injury. McDaniel was told he was not available.
once again, just not Calais Campbell. That's what he is.
That is correct.
Immature. Sorry, I hated that sound. I just hate everything about that.
Yes, this is how bad seasons end. This is how bad marriages end. This is what's happening in this town at the moment. And look, there's a leadership problem in town around sports. Okay,
Hey. Paul Maurice is still here.
Mm-hmm.
If every star wants to leave Miami, I don't, is it us? Maybe it's us. Like, if we're the common denominator here, maybe it's us.
But to Chris's point, and he's right about Tyreek Hill, this is the first adversity he's had to go through as an NFL player. He's been on great teams. He was on the Chiefs. He was on a great offense with the Dolphins for the first couple of years on the field, and his numbers have been great. But the second it goes the other way on the team and on Tyreek Hill, he wants out.
So friendly reminder, Gustav Forsling and Samson Reinhart took discounts.
Well said.
Yeah, but Lucy, Jimmy Butler, and Tyreek Hill.
we have a leadership problem in sports across South Florida. So Larrañaga is out. He got chewed up at the end. All of this momentum, it usually doesn't dissipate that fast. That was sort of shocking to see how quickly all of that happened to Larrañaga when they had the hardest thing. The hardest thing, you get to the Final Four, that's the springboard. Go now. And then it just collapses. They were terrible. They lost to Charleston Southern at home last year by 25. Truly terrible. And he doesn't get the punctuation he wants. Chris Greer, there are reports/rumors that he's going to have. Reports/rumors. I don't know what's true here. Billy, do you know anything here? Chris Greer is supposed to go to another position, allegedly, in the organization with the Dolphins. I don't know how real that is. It is something that's being talked about.
Well, I mean, Stephen Ross put out a statement yesterday saying everybody's kind of staying in the same roles. So I think that they've gone, if that was a thing, I think they've gone away from that.
Okay, so that's 8 years now without a playoff victory. There are no Pro Bowlers on the Dolphins. Andrew Van Ginkel just made the Pro Bowl. Traded Jamar Chase. Traded Laramie Tunsil, traded the possibility of these things.
Jamar Chase.
No, he didn't trade him specifically, but something in the transactions. Forgive me because this is a tweet. I've got to look at the source, and I got too many notes after 2 weeks. I'll get back to what it is that is in a second. But Chris Greer has been in that job for 8 years, Stugotz.
Yep.
In the organization for 20, working his way up as well.
Yeah, but it's uncommon for a guy to be a GM of a team for 8 years, not win a playoff game, and still have a job. That's uncommon.
This is not really. I understand the disappointment of this season, but Dolphin fans love this guy entering the seasons. The results weren't there, and we don't have to overthink this one. The season got undone by the thing we were fearing for years would undo the season, which was an injury to a fragile quarterback. You're overthinking this one. Chris Greer, while that player is actively campaigning to leave town right now, just a season ago was voted the best player in the NFL. Chris Greer acquired him.
But I think what the season did was it cast a spotlight on the fact that there was no contingency plan. And now you're moving forward, and if Tua gets hurt again, which is a very real possibility in any form, not just the concussion thing. We saw the hip thing undid him at the end of the season. What is the plan? And it seems as though they're trusting the same people to be in charge of making that plan next year. When we saw this year, there didn't seem to be a very good one.
We better see the best quarterback room ever next year. I don't know why we didn't see it this year. I'm with Greer. I'm fine with Greer staying. Like, obviously, the elephant in the room is that quarterback position. Like, you screwed that up. You thought Skylar Thompson was enough to be your backup, and that was just a big fart.
Who do you want in that room?
Hold on.
Damn, we're talking quarterback rooms.
Hold on. I don't want to talk Dolphin backup
They tried to get him.
quarterback.
Did you see that rumor?
Hold on. I know what you guys
Cantor
want to
said no.
talk about. I'm not interested in that portion of this at the moment. The portion of this I want to talk about, because Chris brought it up, they would have been a playoff team if Tua has stayed healthy. He played in a career-low 11 games, okay? So he missed 6 games. He's averaged 4 missed games per season. All the teams deep in the playoffs, their quarterbacks have stayed healthy, right? It's a little bit of Jalen Hurts here, might be hurt for a little while. Jordan Love might miss a game or two. But largely, the playoff teams, if you look at their quarterbacks aren't missing 6 games. Yes, they have a fragile quarterback, but when you say that's not Chris Greer's fault, and I heard Mina and Dominique talking about this. Dominique will join us here in a little bit. The Dolphin run game is one of the worst in the league. Their offensive line continues to be a problem. McDaniel was supposed to solve that as somebody who did that as the offensive coordinator in Atlanta when Matt Ryan became a MVP. He was supposed to bring run game with him no matter whether it's Mostert, 18 touchdowns, or Achane or anybody. The touchdowns, it does not matter. Yeah, it's better to have McCaffrey, but from that chain, you run the football. They could not run the football at all. And so then what it's built on is, Tua, can you do it in 2 seconds every time? Can you do it in 3 seconds every time? That's pretty flimsy. Like when the whole thing is built on that, and then go win in the cold. He's going to get hurt. You're going to miss games. You're not likely to get the bye, and go win in the cold with a Ferrari.
If I may, like that's a staple of the Shanahan offense, and McDaniel's a disciple of that. His first year, we were all wondering, when is this run game going to explode? Second season, it did. third season here in Miami, it seems as though in the early part of the season, defenses adjusted to what Mike McDaniel was doing. And then Mike McDaniel in the middle of the season decided to change his strategy. Did a lot of interesting things with motion. All of a sudden, Jonnu Smith becomes the focal point of the offense. I think Mike McDaniel actually showed you a lot in terms of being able to pivot and understand the adjustments that defenses make. Also, this coaching staff knew it had a defense problem last season, and they corrected it. They made a pretty strong hire. Yesterday's game notwithstanding, they seem to be more solidified defensively. I do think there are good things here. The contingency plan thing is something that we were all confused by. Why'd you bring in Mike White just to let him go? It's not. I know that Tua just had his healthiest season, but this is not a question mark that simply goes away because of one season. They failed there. They took a chance. The bet blew up in their face. I don't think you fire people just because the thing that we all feared might happen, did actually happen. I trust them to actually make the right corrections like they've proven they can.
Imagine Joe Flacco on that quarterback.
I was just looking it up right now. He's available.
Oh, my God.
And he's going to be turning 40.
Or Joe Milton.
Give me Dalton and a rookie. That's what I want.
Red Rifle.
Dalton and a rookie.
I need options.
Forgive me. Chris Greer selected Waddle instead of Chase is what he did. Traded Minkah Fitzpatrick. Traded Laramie Tunsil, a trade that I liked. The larger point is the bottom line on 8 years is 0 playoff wins and another season that now has, because of where the expectations were, man, we saw this with the Browns, Stugotz. We lived all of this. Because of where the expectations were with this team, you cannot have another year of McDaniel end with this and not have a fan base that has not had a playoff victory this century since Lamar Smith in 2001. You cannot have all of this without the fan base wanting a place to put the blame. It can't go blameless for 8 years where you used to be the winningest franchise in all of sports. You built this town and all the sports around it based on Dolphin excellence. And there are 2 generations of people who have no familiarity with the Dolphins being any good.
Someone needs to suffer the consequence. Sports fans, when you have a season like this that ends in disappointment, a season that you're talking Super Bowl before, they want a pound of flesh. But I think that they do have their explanation. It was Tua. It was the thing that you always feared. And it undid this season, and you have to do your best to address it. Tua seems like hell-bent on continuing to play. This hip injury thing is actually really concerning to me because we all know the issues that he has with concussions, but this was the actual question mark that we had about him when he entered the draft. It's why he wasn't, the number one consensus pick like he was being discussed about when he was at Alabama, is because it was a devastating injury.
In fairness to the Dolphins, it's tough to have a backup plan when you're dealing with Tua. This is fairly unprecedented, right? Like, quarterbacks are going to be hesitant to come here because if Tua is healthy, Billy, he's going to play all 17 games. So you're coming here for what? In the event that he gets concussed again and you get a chance to go in?
In the Sam Darnold event. In the event that Sam Darnold can take a job because your quarterback. That's probability stuff. That's what Kenny Pickett did.
The league is full of people that have backup plans.
I know, but you have to be sure that you're right on that plan. It's not Skylar Thompson. You have to be sure you're going to get it right if you're going to have a backup plan for Tua.
They bet big because of their salary cap situation. They didn't want to tie any more salary cap into that room outside of Tua, and they got it wrong.
Guys, it can't be. The season ends and we're talking about the backup quarterback. That's
part of why the season ended yesterday.
Look, there's plenty of places to blame 1,000 different things. What I'm saying to you is there's no winners talking about their backup quarterback situation right now.
Well, no, the winners are talking about the playoff games, but we don't have a playoff game to talk about.